What do we stand for as a nation if our immigration policy is defined more by optics than outcomes, more by political ego than principle? The British public deserves more than recycled soundbites and hollow pledges. They deserve a government that can deliver real solutions to illegal migration with the urgency and clarity the issue demands. Instead, we find ourselves watching yet another performance, this time with a new cast, but the same tired script. So Keir Starmer's latest plan to pay Balkan countries to accept failed asylum seekers is not a bold new direction. It's a thinly veiled rebranding exercise, the same playbook as Rwanda, just performed under a different flag. And despite the cosmetic changes, the fundamental question remains: does this government actually have the will or capacity to solve the problem it claims to prioritize? There is an unmistakable stench of political cowardice here. Starmer campaigned against the Rwanda scheme, dismissed it as immoral, ineffective, and unlawful. He scrapped it under the banner of progressivism, only to turn around and repurpose the same deterrence framework, swapping Rwanda with return hubs in unnamed Balkan states. If the Labour leader believed the concept was unethical, why emulate it? If he believed it could work, why cancel Rwanda in the first place after millions were already invested? This is where Labour's duplicity becomes not just frustrating, but dangerous. They are not building trust with the public, they are insulting it. They presume voters will not notice that the supposed compassionate alternative is little more than a cut-and-paste strategy. They presume the public is more interested in a change of tone than a change of result. But this country does not need more political theatrics. It needs borders it can control. The moral high ground Starmer claims to occupy is eroding fast. It is not compassionate to let illegal migration continue unabated. It is not moral to allow thousands to risk their lives in rubber boats across the channel. Nor is it principled to delay action because you're afraid to take on the legal and institutional hurdles standing in the way of deterrence. We've heard the slogans: smash the gangs, stop the boats. But where are the deliverables? Where is the operational muscle behind the message? It's not enough to simply criticize the last government's approach. It is certainly not enough to spend months tearing down a scheme like Rwanda only to quietly recycle it in a more palatable package. What Starmer needs to understand is that competence isn't measured by how well you distance yourself from your predecessors. It's measured by outcomes. And so far, the outcomes speak for themselves. Illegal crossings are surging, enforcement is stagnating, and the deterrent effect of Britain's asylum system is weaker than ever. Meanwhile, Starmer's refusal to confront the European Convention on Human Rights shows a stunning lack of strategic depth. Labour continues to dance around the issue with vague assurances and procedural ambiguity, unwilling to touch the legal architecture that often prevents meaningful deportations. If Labour is serious about returns hubs, or any form of deterrence, it must face the unavoidable reality. As long as the UK remains bound to ECHR judgments, the government's hands will remain tied. And let's not pretend this is merely a legal issue. It's a matter of political will. You cannot smash the gangs with statements. You need real deterrence, policies that demonstrate to both smugglers and migrants that illegal entry into the UK will not lead to indefinite appeals, subsidised accommodation, and eventual integration by default. Instead, Labour's half-formed proposals seem designed to survive the headlines of the day rather than the test of implementation. The UNHCR's qualified endorsement of the return hub concept is being used by Labour as political cover, but it should not be mistaken for a green light. The UN's support is conditional and cautious, and it offers no guarantee of legal immunity. More importantly, it highlights how desperate this government is for a validation that should come from the British public, not from Geneva. A sovereign government should not need the UN's blessing to defend its borders. That the Home Secretary feels compelled to trumpet this endorsement is telling. It reveals a government still uncertain of its own moral footing. The time for political hedging is over. The public is watching illegal migration spiral out of control, with 705 crossings in a single day and no coherent plan in sight. A 43% year-on-year increase in small boat arrivals is not a statistic, it's a verdict. It is the clearest indication that deterrence has failed, and that the system designed to manage asylum claims is being abused. If Keir Starmer wants to lead, then he must lead. That means doing more than rebranding old conservative policies. It means making hard choices about legislation, international law, and national security, without hiding behind euphemisms and procedural jargon. This is not a moment for weak compromises. It's a moment for bold, unapologetic action. The British people have waited long enough. The question is not whether Starmer can deliver. It's whether he's willing to try.